Ken. Appreciate you being out
Hi,
there, brother.
Ken.
We talk about this all the time that life is about relationships,
Mm-hmm.
and the thing about it is that, if with my work schedule, I leave when it's dark, I get back home when it's dark because it gets so dark early now. So
Yes, yes, yes.
if I don't know, I mean, and this is a small town where I am. It's right in between Tampa and Orlando. So I drive into the city in Tampa
Okay.
every day.
Okay.
And these relationships are necessary. I mean, I got a neighbor over here. She knows everything. She knows everything. If I got some people coming over, she's gonna be like, "I saw you had some friends come over the other night."
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all
Yes, I
right.
did. I'm making friends.
So and then there's a guy that lives around the corner. He calls me. I talked to him for about 30 minutes this morning,
Okay.
and I got a
Wow,
washer, but
30
I don't have.
minutes though?
I know, yeah,
Who
I
still
know.
does 30
Who
minutes like in
I know, because
person?
I was like ready to, okay, all right, you know how you get ready to cut off the conversation and you
Right,
got these
right,
signals like,
right,
okay.
right.
I did the okay about
But
4 times.
that's great. You must be really charming. That's great.
Oh, here we go again.
Here we go with the charming. She won't let it go.
She
I
won't
think
let
it's
it go.
important though, to know your neighbors, and start with those relationships as well, because people are always like, oh, I'm so alone and
Yeah.
nobody's here, but you probably don't even know your neighbors, and
Yeah. Yeah.
they probably would invite. Well, I don't know about now. I guess stuff's a little different. I don't know. It's like
Not
a new
really.
world, but yeah,
It's all relatives though.
that's true.
Hey,
That's true.
Sylvia's watching. Hey, Sylvia, glad
Hey,
to see you.
Sylvia, thanks for joining
Hey,
us.
my buddy Samuel Chance is watching, and Sydney Maddox. Hey, Sid, what's going on, girl? How you doing?
Sid and
What's up,
Sam. Okay.
Chance? It's good to see you guys on. Listen, today we plan to talk about something very serious, so we got to stop laughing and we got to get serious.
Cue
We're
the
gonna,
music.
the thing is, in every relationship, especially romantically, at some point in our lives, we have a breakup. You know,
Mhm.
and it's never fun. We don't want it to be that way. Unfortunately, it is. So, um, you know, it's difficult. Sydney has a note here. Sydney says that, and I'm taking a break from our topic for just a minute. She says, "I like meeting strangers. So one of the hardest parts of COVID is not talking to people." And Sid, you're right. You're
Mm.
right. That is a very difficult thing, especially for somebody like me. But I just listen. I slap on
You
that
just do what
mask
you want.
and
Yeah.
I'm out there.
See,
Because even with COVID, we have to be careful, but not so careful to the point where we just put ourselves away from everything and everyone. We still got to live
mhm.
our lives, and part of our lives is understanding relationships.
It's like now I don't want to offend anybody by doing either way. Are you going to
Mm,
be offended if I dap you, if I elbow bump you? Are you going to be more offended if I'm like, hey, and I'm all in your space? So I usually kind of say something to feel people out. I usually say something like, hey, I'm usually a hugger, but just not sure right now. It's like I
yeah,
always put that out there so that people know my intention is very warm, even if I'm just trying to show respect. Sometimes when we show respect, it could come off as fear or
well,
uncertainty.
I've been fist bumping everybody. you know, you know, hey, what's up?
Everybody's been
I
kung fu
I had
fighting.
a guy at the store the other day that really helped me out. I said, "Hey man, I thank you very much." I gave him that fist bump, because normally you would shake their hand,
Oh
but
yeah,
you
but
got
not
to be
now.
careful. We really have to be careful with COVID.
So
Hey, and
hopefully, huh?
TJ is watching. TJ says that
Okay.
it's better for them to be offended than you being infected. And hey,
Okay. Well, we can't argue with that one at all.
Hmm.
So, I think it'd be really cool though for people to say like what's been working with them for how they're greeting people right now because maybe we just need to know like how people genuinely feel about it. There really hasn't been, too much. It really just depends on who your circle is and when you step into people that are not in your circle and now you're in their circle and
It's
you want
very
to be
true.
respectful.
Very
So,
true.
yeah.
Yeah, if you're listening to us and watching us, tell us how you do and what you do. When
Yeah.
you're
How
greeting
you do.
someone, do you
Uh-huh.
elbow, do you fist bump,
Right.
or you
Right.
just stand back with your mask on and say, "Hey"?
Or maybe just say Wakanda forever.
Yeah,
They know what it is, but it'd be like, hey, bro,
definitely,
if something go down, I got you. But
definitely.
for right now, let's just,
Let's
yeah.
just do this and we're good. Sally Harris, you out there watching us, we're watching you too. Thanks for being with us. We appreciate you all. We appreciate each one of you that
We
take
really
time
do.
out of your Sunday evenings
We
to
do.
check us out and listen, because this is topics that we believe, Rhea and I believe, and our producer Roy, we believe these topics are things that each one of you are going to encounter on a daily basis. I mean, we started out today with a mindset of talking about the breakups, but so far really been talking about how the interactions go with
Yeah,
people
no, that's true.
on a regular basis, because it's our life. This is a real thing. This is not a game. This is life. So, as long as I'm here, Rhea's there, you guys are where you are, we can all see each other and everything is like really cool, right? But tomorrow, when we begin to really
Mm-hmm.
encounter different people here and
Right.
there,
Right.
what do some
What we
people
doing?
do? What do you do? You
What
know,
we doing? Yeah.
Sydney says she waves from a distance, no touching. She says her
Okay.
shoe salesman gave her a hug yesterday and she
Oh.
secretly flipped out. Well,
Oh.
Sid, I know some things about you, and I know about your shoe collection, and he probably just appreciates the fact that you're taking care of his family still. So,
He just wanted to tell you thank you that he's still in business because of people that are still keeping our economy going.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Keeping it
No,
real.
serious, right? Just tell him
I
next
really
time to just take
appreciate
your
you.
two shoes and do them like this. Put the two shoes up, and you'll know what it is. You're welcome, my friend. I
Definitely.
got you.
TJ
The shoe
says,
salespeople. Uh huh.
no, so go ahead. Go ahead. Finish your
No,
statement.
I was just saying, like, when we're speaking of relationships, like our shoe salespeople, like, because you don't want just anybody just touching on your feet. When we find somebody we like working with, though, that's a real pure relationship. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong,
No,
but
you're
you
right.
don't want to just be. It's like, what day you working? Okay, I'll make sure I
Yep.
come on that day at 7 p.m. You'll be off your lunch break. Okay, great, because you can't just, and then they don't go get the shoes on time and stuff. But anyway, who was comments, and I want
So
to
no,
hear.
no, but before I read DJ's comment, because I used to sell shoes way back in the day. I had a job at Rich's there at
About
Cumberland
to say
Mall,
Macy's, probably, but
and
Riches
yeah,
was prior to
Rich's. It
Macy's.
was like Macy's.
Excuse
It was at
me.
Cumberland Mall, and
Okay.
I was selling the heck out of some shoes. I'm telling you, and I had some regular customers, and they didn't want to come unless I was there, and they would let me know
Telling you.
when you're gonna be there.
I'm
You know,
telling you, it wears a
so
lie.
yes, and but the interesting thing is that with us guys,
Mhm.
our shoe game is the average guy. Our shoe game is nothing like yours.
Y'all
You know,
barely even be trying shoes on. You know
you
what I'm
know,
saying? I guess you could
average
probably tell a
guy.
lot about a guy by how he buys his shoes.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
bet he
That is
engages with
true.
other people to ask for help.
Well, I don't know if you can because average guy has maybe dress shoes, one pair black, one pair brown,
Black, brown, blue.
not even blue, just
Not
black
even
and
blue,
brown.
black and brown. But I'm saying alternative color. Everybody has to have alternative. It might be white, but you gotta have
But
alternative.
now
You only have a
our
black and
tennis shoe
brown shoe?
game,
Oh,
our
okay.
tennis
Right,
shoe
right,
game
right,
is,
right. Yeah. Yeah. Sneakers.
I got a few other colors. I got one pair that's kind of a rose color that I've only worn like
See?
once or twice, you
Right.
know. But
Right.
but the brothers that wear the Gators, they got like 15
This
20,
is
30,
true.
40
This is
colors,
true.
you know.
This is true.
TJ says that she's remote only and only elbowing if she knows them. But she says, I want this over, so I'm trying to do what I can to reduce
Oh, I see.
and stop the spread. She
I
wants this
see.
mess over
She wants to get back to
completely.
normal or, get back to things. And so it's kind of like, let me limit it right now so
Definitely.
that the time is shorter.
Definitely. And Sydney comes back and says, Rhea, it's a real relationship. I have his cell number. He sent me a nice text a couple of months ago saying how much he appreciates my business. He said it's been hard for him during COVID. Brother man bought his house with
Okay.
Sydney's business. I'm telling you, I know her shoe game. I know her shoe game.
Let me tell you what's happening for the holidays. She's getting him something, or she getting him a starter. I already know how this goes because see, it's like when they be having your size, if they don't know you, they will be holding it. Listen, I know how the game goes. If they don't know you, they ain't holding that shoe in the back for you. And the next person that come out one the seventh time, they getting it.
Yeah,
But
they
the
getting it.
person that knows you, they gonna hold it
They
for
gonna
you. They gonna be
hold
like,
it.
she said she coming at 7. I know she gonna be here and I'm gonna go ahead and make sure she's happy because she gonna buy that one and another pair, whereas this other person might just be just getting the one. It's real out there. It's like your post office person and that type of thing during the holidays. Those certain people that you just known for
Mm,
forever. It's been
yeah.
like the same person. Man,
Well,
it really is.
TJ is in total agreement with you. She says yes with about 5 exclamation points.
Okay, I
But
can't see the comments, but yes.
she also comments on men wearing white shoes, not
Oh,
sneakers. Mm.
ooh, with the hard bottom. She's saying anything
That's
with a
that's
hard
a
bottom.
that's a
It could be
whole
a
new topic right
firm
there.
foam bottom, but not a hard bottom.
Not a hard bottom. Not a. Back in the day, I used to have them white. I had some white
Patent. Oh,
platforms.
platform. Okay.
Yeah, but let's not even go there because I didn't even say that. But
Okay. Yeah, that was before you cared about relationships.
actually,
I'm just kidding,
back
y'all. I'm just.
back in the day, that was
Yeah, I
like the
know it was
thing.
a
That was the
thing. It was a
thing.
thing. I get it. I get it.
So,
I
but Sydney says that her man, all right,
Okay. Okay.
her
Wakanda
shoe
forever.
her shoe man, Wakanda forever. He holds shoes for her for weeks,
Oh my gosh.
weeks,
Oh my gosh.
and she just bought a pair of sneakers yesterday. So, I'm telling you, her shoe game ain't no joke. I'm
Oh
telling you,
my
it's no
gosh.
joke. It
I'm
is no joke.
impressed. I'm going to take notes on this. There's got to be some kind of way to tie this in because I know there's something related to the fact that you're taking up the whole closet, girl. Somebody need their own his and her closet. I want to talk about
Need a room by itself, just nothing but shoes.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So that's probably a part of the situation. You got to look for that person that's okay with our, what we like to have.
See, I said something just now that I probably should not have said.
Ooh.
Yeah, and our original topic may come into play here, the breakup. I think I'm gonna have to break up and kick TJ out of my
Try
friend
again.
circle
Try again.
because she has said to me that
Try
she
again.
cannot unsee that one. You know, the
The
platforms, the white
image. No, I know what
platforms.
she talk about,
She says
the
she
image.
can't unsee it.
And
You know,
you know what? You
listen. The
right.
interesting thing was nobody could see it because when I wore those shoes, I had those elephant ear bell bottoms on.
Yeah.
So all you could see was that I was like
The
four
little
inches
just the little
taller.
peak. The little peak of the tip of the tofu. When you move your jean a little bit and you just see that peak of white. So like, you got on some white shoes? Yeah, brother. Yeah, I got on these white shoes. Get out of here.
I know, I know.
I know how it's gonna tie in though.
What's that?
It is going to tie into our topic, the platform shoes.
You think so?
How
Am I
long
gonna
was
have
it before you
am I
let
gonna have to
go of
break up
those?
with you? Am I gonna have to break
No,
up with
how
you too?
long was it that you had those shoes, and how long did it take you to get rid of them? Even after you knew you'd never wear them again, I'm curious to know how long
Oh,
you
they was
still
gone.
held them in your
No, no,
possession.
no, no. See, the thing about it, I was like in the 8th grade when I had those, and so
Still.
By the
I
time
remember an
no
eighth grade pair of shoes.
no, but by the time I got to like the ninth grade, I couldn't wear them because my foot was too big. So I didn't have any
Oh,
choice. I mean, I had no choice but to get rid of them. Now listen, TJ's trying to she's trying to
soften
repair
the blow.
she repairing this thing. She says, "But I still love you.
She's
But if
working
you
on
say
it.
you had a matching hat, we need to talk." No, ma'am. There was
A
no matching
platform
hat.
hat.
It was a silk shirt and some white elephant ear bell bottoms, but there was no matching hat. I can tell you that.
Why you tried to fix that whole situation up real quick? You took it to eighth grade. I told you wasn't in no extra relationships at that time when you had them shoes. I knew it. I knew it. That's eighth grade, man. You still trying to figure it out. And when
Yeah,
you realize that nobody want that but you.
cut it loose. Cut it loose. Get it out of there.
So you're pretty good at the let goes then, huh?
Yeah,
Generally speaking. Okay, because that's what we're talking about
it is.
today.
It
You
is.
know,
It is. That's what we're talking about. And I tell you what, let's
you
take
want
a
to take a
short
break?
break. Yeah, we're gonna take a short break, pay a couple of bills, and we're
Okay.
gonna come back and we're gonna jump right into our topic. We're gonna
Okay.
talk about the breakup.
Okay.
Listen, do not leave us. Stay with us because we want to hear your comments, not just on shoes,
Okay.
but
These
we
shoes
want to hear
were
all your
made for
comments.
walking, and that's what we gonna do. That's why that came into play to tell you when to walk on out, honey.
When to walk on out.
Mhm.
But let's take a quick break. We'll be
Okay.
back in a couple of minutes. This is Relationship Radio with Robert and Reya on the JBN Network. We'll be right back with you.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids' apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
Shop Velvet Online Women's Boutique to spice up your closet with trendy, unique looks. We have fashionable and chic looks at very affordable prices. Velvet Boutique offers free shipping all year long on all orders. Shop online at www.melvetboutique.com. That's www.melvetboutique.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram. Shop Velvet Online Women's Boutique.
This is Brian Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
Oh, that's sweet.
Hey, we're back. Relationship Radio with Robert and Reya. We're back. You're back. We're together. Let's have some fun and let's talk about the things that matter. Over the break, had a couple of comments. One from Sydney. She says, I am horrible at the let go. I hoard clothes, shoes, and relationships.
At least
And
she's honest too. I
she's
love
very
it.
honest
I
about it.
love it. I love
Very
it.
honest about it. And then TJ says, hey, don't worry. If we stayed with you after the white platforms, you know we're here for you.
That's real love. Wakanda forever.
Wakanda forever. That's real love right there.
Man.
So the thing about um, this whole thing about breakups, you know, and I get what Sydney is saying about hoarding relationships because, sometimes we just don't want to let go. And I always say this, Rhea. I always say that we're creatures of habit.
Yes, you do.
And from my perspective, it means that we get so used to doing things that we just want to stay in that we want to not do it. The route you take for work, you take the same route every week, every day. Same thing home. Even when you examine the foods we eat, you know, and it was ingrained in us because remember when we were in school,
Mhm.
Salisbury steak on Monday, right?
Oh my god.
Hamburgers on Wednesday, pizza Thursday, fish Friday. I don't remember what Tuesday was, but we just
Fish
become
sticks.
creatures of habits. So, even in relationships, we hold on to it so tightly sometimes because not because we're so in love and just don't want it to go. Yeah, Monica Taylor, Monica, we see you out there. It becomes comfortable. Monica says it's comfortable, and she's right. We put up with a lot of excuse me,
Mhm.
a lot of stuff
Yeah, exactly.
sometimes in relationships just because we're comfortable, you know, and we don't want to have to start all over again. The breakup is tough, you know.
Yeah, but comfy and cozy ain't the same thing. And if you can't be cozy, then it's a wrap. Yeah, you can be comfortable. We
Hmm.
like, we adapt so we can get comfortable in anything. But if you can't get cozied up, I'm just gonna suggest that it's probably a no go. But I'm kind of rebellious too.
Okay, what do you mean?
I wasn't really, it would have kind of been nice to get the school lunches, but I wasn't really getting school, lunches. So I didn't really see that schedule, I don't think, past like elementary school.
Hmm.
It was like I'm eating, leftovers from dinner last night. I'm doing something totally different. So I know what you're talking about the scheduling of everything and it being this regular thing, but I'm just so not like that. And that's why people probably think I'm so
Mm,
rebellious because you can't
mm,
you can't calculate my day like that. Those people like, what do you do on Tuesday? I don't know. Like,
mm.
I really might not know. And then I kind of like have to let my day take its way because I don't want to get to a point where God has a blessing for me in my day, but I'm so stuck in the same routine. I'm the
Yeah.
person, and I'll say this and I'll be quiet. I'm the person where I leave out and come back in two different routes. I did start doing that more like out of fear. Like, what if somebody
Yeah.
gets used to saying, oh, that girl, she live here, or she go. But once I realized that I was doing it, I just kept
Hmm.
doing it. I
Yeah.
don't, do the stuff the same way, but at the same token, that does scare other people.
Yes.
With me being like that, they
And
don't have that sense of secure.
I'm pretty much the same way. I try to do things differently because, and maybe it's a sense of paranoia with me. I don't know what it is. Maybe I should have been a cop or something. I'm not
Okay.
sure, but
Okay.
I try to do things differently because I don't want to look. I don't want that pattern, and I don't like that pattern.
Yeah.
Sydney makes a comment. Sydney says that one of her best friends is a guy who cheated on her with five other women when
Oh,
they were in a
wow.
relationship. Yeah. She says he was a lousy boyfriend, but he is an amazing friend. And she
Oh.
didn't end the relationship. She just changed the definition of it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It
Yeah,
makes sense,
nothing ever ends. That's the whole thing people don't understand. Even when you hate somebody, it's like stuff never really fully is because we're all so connected. I think that was very mature, and
Oh, yeah.
I love that she said that. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, it is very mature, but not everybody's not at that level. Everybody's not at that level. And that's the thing that we have to understand because some people will come into a relationship and things aren't going right and then they break up and they go into a state of depression, and that state of depression follows them for weeks, months, and even sometimes years because they
And
never truly
right,
deal
you're right.
with what happened in that relationship.
Yep.
you know well, and we got to deal with it. We got to deal with it because now people are wondering because you got, all right, so I broke up with Sally last
Uh-huh.
week, because she cheated on me. And so
Uh-huh.
now this week I'm in a relationship with Bethany, and but I didn't resolve all the crap, all the stuff, all the junk that happened with me and Sally. So now Bethany is feeling the results or the blunt of all of that stuff. You know?
I do. It's like the luggage thing, how people say you carrying baggage, but it's like it's more than that. 'Cause it's like we're bringing the baggage and then we're throwing it on that person's bed, and then we're saying, "Can you find a place to put all this stuff?"
Yeah.
And I think that that's what gets most people. But I gotta say, just one more time, I just love it that she say he was not a good boyfriend, but a good friend, because I think that's our fear with a lot of people is losing out on such a good friendship, because as people say,
Mm.
"Oh, it got so ugly at the end," or and it's like this is the same person that you might have children with. At one point, you were, very supportive of one another. It doesn't just come out of nowhere. So a lot of times, I think we're scared of losing a friendship part, or we're holding on to the friendship aspect, even though that person can't give us what we desire on a higher level. So yeah,
Well,
I love it.
we got a couple of new people watching. Got James,
Hey,
Tashiko, and Bet Morgan all of them watching. We
hey,
see you out there.
everybody.
Thanks for watching us. Sydney makes another comment. She said it took 2 years of not speaking to this guy and not liking him before she could circle back and be his friend. And
But that's great
so that's
still.
yeah, but that's it is great. That's
Yeah.
2 years. Now, Sydney, why did it take so long? Did it take that long for you to really get beyond the stuff that he did? You
She
know,
might have
and
just looked up and a year had already gone by. Life happens,
of
and
course.
what it is you're really learning to get along without this person in your life. You're almost testing yourself. You almost want to see, yeah, I'm talking the talk, but can I walk the walk? And sometimes it takes that long. Maybe you want to accomplish something and you're trying to prove it to yourself that you can accomplish that without that person, or something to that effect. You
So
know?
Sydney comes back and says it took that long for her heart to heal, and that was going to be my next question.
Aww.
Okay, all right, Reya. Sydney, I'm not laughing at you. Believe me, it was
I'm
Reya's.
giving them the side
Oh,
eye
she
already because I don't know
she's
what's coming
taking up
up.
for you. No, but I want to ask that question. How long does it take to heal? You know, because everybody, you talk about the broken heart, right?
Hmm.
And I did this example before, where you got this nice little piece of paper here with nice sharp edges and corners, right? And that's something that's been cut.
Is
But
that
when
personalized paper?
you like that, huh? Look at that. You
Don't rip
noticed that.
that.
Yeah, baby.
Classy stuff, and you're just gonna rip it like it's a. See, this
Yeah.
why we don't do. See, that's how people do. They got this classy paper, and they just rip. Go, let me see you rip it up. Go ahead,
You
let
want
me
to see me
go.
rip it up?
Let me
Because,
see you
well,
rip.
I dropped it. I got to do another one. No, I'm just kidding. So, but in a relationship, when we break up with somebody, it's never just a cut. It's a tear, you know, and it's jagged edges, and it doesn't tear straight because you know this person wanted to break up, this person didn't want to break up, and then they came down here where okay, now I want it, okay, but now I don't. It's never easy for anybody, and it's painful. It hurts. TJ says she agrees. She says, I don't get why it can't just be understood and accepted that it just didn't work. Why the persistent anger? Oh my gosh. We've
She
talked
like
about
just
that
go buy
before.
a pair of shoes, got your system, move along.
or three or four or five, right? And just
That's
keep
what
it
them
moving.
shoes is all about, to keep it moving.
Uh, Sydney comes back and says, truthfully, there was a dead mouse. There was a dead mouse a cat left on my porch. I needed someone to remove it. He lives close by, so I called him, and from that point we reconnected. So had that cat never left that mouse on the front porch, Sydney, you would still be mad at him. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what she's saying. But God works in mysterious ways. So
Yeah.
she might have been praying on the healing, and the circumstance was arranged to where it could occur. We can't pinpoint how stuff happens like it does. There's no real coincidences out there. So I think her heart was ready, and then a situation surfaced to not test her, but just see if she was ready to open up her heart again. And that's what I mean by nothing ever ends. I mean, it's like the Erica Badu song when she's like, I'll see you next lifetime.
Mm.
She's not having any hard feelings. She really liked that guy and she already was with somebody, and she was telling him in the song. And if she
Hmm.
made a song about it, millions of people feel that way. And that's kind of what, where you end up saying, I'll see you next lifetime. In other words, it's never going to end, whatever we have, but everything has its own timing.
Well,
Everything has its own timing.
I think it ends kind of like in Sydney's situation. She agreed. I don't know if she's saying yep. If the cat had never left the mouse, she'd still be mad. She just said
Yeah, we
yeah.
don't really know. The
But
yeah could go both ways, but smart,
but
smart.
and TJ agrees with you. The shoes fix everything
Yes, girl.
for for some women. But with guys, it's different, and the whole thing with the breakup can be. I don't know. It's just so.
Awkward.
Yeah.
But this is somebody that you've more than likely, the last time you were awkward was when you first met. So you've been, interacting with this person that hasn't been awkward, and suddenly it's like, oh,
No, not necessarily, because sometimes it's awkward in the interactions, and that's what makes the breakup awkward. I try to be a good communicator, right, in relationships. Hence the word try.
Okay, right,
But
right.
sometimes people show you that they really don't want to hear what you have to say. They want to hear what they want to hear.
Can I say this too? I really do feel like for some people, okay, some people are very much a cut to the chase type of person. You know what I mean? Like just cut to the chase. When the other person might be trying to feel around and make it work but unsure, and when you put those two types of people together, that's when stuff gets awkward because they're now realizing like, oh my gosh, like we're not on the same speed level right now.
Hmm.
Because I'm just like, what do you want to do? Do you want to stay? Do you want to not? And then the other person like, I'm just like this. I'm like, let's just see what happens. Let's, try to do this and that. And so that's why the breakup gets so awkward when you have two different types of mindsets coming
Yeah.
together. That's the awkwardness about it. But let me ask you this, because you said, how long does it take to heal, right? So when I think of
How
heal,
long?
I'm thinking of like, something more of like physical disease or illness of the body when I think of the word healing. So, do we kind of look at heartache as like that, or heartbreak, or breakup? Do we kind of view that as that type of thing? You know,
I mean,
like
I
some.
think you can because it's painful. It can
Yes,
it can be very painful. So it can be in some instances like an illness.
I think so. When
I
you
mean,
said
yeah,
healing,
because
I'm like,
yeah, because some people when depending on their mindset, not even it doesn't even have to do with how long they were together. It has to do with the mindset, and they say, after the breakup, they get to the point where they just they can't eat, they can't sleep, they don't want to go to work, they just cry,
this
you
is
know.
true. This is true. I think though, more than likely, it's not just that with relationships for that particular individual. They've probably been doing that since they, lost their first blanket that was important to them.
Hmm.
And I just feel like, no, I'm serious, and I don't even mean it
No,
in
I
like
get
a
it.
you
I
know what
get
I
it. No,
mean? I
I
just
get it completely.
think the same way we create relationships, we also recreate situations and circumstances. And so if you never got past that first one, by the time you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, it's going to be even more difficult because, like you said, you never resolved it early
Yeah.
on. But if we looked at it like a healing versus this big mountain, you know what I mean? If we just
Hmm.
simply said, you know what? I need to heal. And we use that as our terminology. I think it'd be a lot better off than what we do. Because now it's like, ugh, how is life
Yeah.
about to be different? Now I got to deal with my life without you.
And you mentioned earlier, and I'm going to read a comment from Sydney. You
Okay.
mentioned earlier how God comes into the process, and in
Mm,
her case, if God had never directed that cat to leave that mouse right there on her front porch, there's a lot that she would have had to deal with difficulty differently in life. And let me read this comment. So this man has been there for me in the past 3 years, has really been there for me in the past 3 years through my dad's passing, through moving my mom in to live with her. And she says he's really my rock. He taught me how to meet people where they are, accept them for who they are, and for what they have to offer. That's pretty deep. And then she goes further. She says, Rhea sounds like she's never suffered from a broken heart. Oh, heartbreak is a physical pain. She says, Rhea, it sounds like you, Rhea, have never
Me.
suffered from a broken heart. Heartbreak is a physical pain. Nothing will heal it but time. Now,
So
hold on, but
okay.
before you comment on that, I'm going to read Roy's comment too. Our producer Roy says everyone grieves and deals with hurt differently, and so can you really put a time limit on how long or how long someone is hurt? Your response.
I told y'all earlier, I'm very rebellious. I don't do things in the same way that other people have. So,
Hmm.
what you would consider to be heartbreak, yes, but I also look at things in life differently, and I've looked at things in life differently when it comes to loss. And I know it's gonna sound off the wall to say, but I've been affirming for a long time in my life that I don't want to have the impact of a loss. Um how do you say, me not look at it as if it's still all in God's hands.
Mm.
And that could be death, that could be a person. And so that's why I'm going to come off as being very rebellious to people. It might even sound like, gosh, she's kind of cold hearted. I've been through the same stuff too, but I've just been affirming now for years, because when I had a first major loss in my life, it just wrecked things so horribly that the way that I had to get through that and not let it affect my life. And like you were talking about with the depression, and you can't get out of bed and da da da.
Yeah.
Once you've been through something like that and you don't ever want to go back to that again, whether it's death or family or relationship, then you start working on ways to where your mind doesn't go back there again. And
Yeah.
so, down to small losses, I'm that person where even if I misplace something, I immediately declare I have no loss in this life. If it's been removed from my life, it'll come back in a better way when it's ready to. And that is my respect for the time of healing. Yes,
Mm.
I don't think everything stops during that time, but I do respect we need the time. And that's why sometimes we lose things or we misplace them. We've been too focused on it. We don't need it in our
Hmm.
life, whether it's an earring or a cell phone or whatever it is. I think that there's a reason for any minor or major loss. And yes, only time will bring it back, but you have to put your mind in the right space to where it will appear back in your path again. And,
Rhea, I'm, I am, Rhea, that's where you and I are a lot alike, because when I lose things in life, whether it's a family member to death,
mm,
a relationship to break up, or something tangible, physical, I move myself from it because it's no longer here, and
mm.
it doesn't matter how long I grieve. It doesn't matter how long it's never coming back. Like my mom died 20 years ago. You remember,
And I
right?
remember that, and I still remember finding out and how everything went. I remember on the couch and hearing it. I'm telling you, I
Yeah,
could visualize that specific
yeah.
day.
And it. I was devastated when it happened, and I cried
Yes.
and I cried and I cried.
Hmm.
But after I came back from the funeral,
Yep.
there were times when I would hear that song from Boys to Men, Mama, and I'd be like,
Mama. Right. You have your
uh,
moment.
but my healing, it came because I desired it. You know,
You have to want that.
you gotta want it.
And let me
I
tell
I
you.
had someone that I
Oh.
was, and even in relationships, I've had my breakups and divorces, and they're just things that when that happens, and people seem to think that because you may have been married and divorced more than one time that you have no emotions and it doesn't affect you,
You're
and
desensitized.
that's not
Hmm.
true.
Hmm.
That's not true. So Sylvia makes a comment. And but before Sylvia, Sydney comes back and says, "Yeah, that's real deep. That is real deep."
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm one of the most sensitive people that I know, and I have to protect my intuition on things. I have to protect my sensitivity. I'm so connected with other people and so empathetic. I've really had to find ways to keep my mind in a certain space. If not, I will pick up on, everybody's everything on top of it too. So,
Rhea, let's take a quick break. I'm going to read a
okay.
comment. I'm going to read a comment
Yeah.
from Sylvia. Sylvia made a comment. She says, "Everyone has an expiration date. Healing of the heart has no date. Only one
Mm.
can heal the heart, and that's God. So if you place it, you have to place it in his hand." And TJ comes back and says, "Rhea is logical as opposed to emotional. You can hurt and miss someone, um, and then it is what it is.
Oops, my bad.
You
When
know."
we come
So,
back,
so when
I'll
we come
clarify.
back,
Yeah.
I want you to touch on what we talked about earlier, and how
Oh,
your perspective on God and healing. Okay.
okay.
All
Sure
right.
thing.
Listen, don't leave us. We're gonna be right back. This is Robert and Ray Relationship Radio on the JBN Network. Give us a minute. We're gonna pay a bill. We'll be right back.
Majesty is a premium health and wellness tea line focused on bringing delicious yet healthy tea blends to the community. Filled with an abundance of vitamins and antioxidants, we work to blend teas with exotic spices and fruits to produce scrumptious and wholesome beverages. So check us out at mymajesties.com. That's MYMAJESTEAS.com. My Majesties, an Urban Passport member.
The human voice has always connected audiences with experiences. Major brands all across America have trusted Kever's voice time and time again. Conversational, powerhouse, intelligent, and sincere. That's the voice you need for your creative marketing process. KEAVERSVOICE.com. Kever's Voice, Kever's Voice, KeversVoice.com. Always on, all the time.
Put that down for next week. I know, yeah, some kind of way.
Yeah,
Hey, y'all.
definitely. Hey, we're back. Relationship Radio with Robert and Rhea. And I'm going to read a couple of comments before you respond, Ray. I'm going to go back and read again what Sylvia Brown mentioned. She said, "Everyone has an expiration date. Healing of the heart has no date. Only one can heal the heart, and that's God. But you got to place it in his hand." Then TJ comes back and says, "Rhea is logical as opposed to emotional." Makes sense. It says you can hurt and miss someone, um, but not. You can hurt and miss someone, but not.
Mm,
And it is what it is.
mm.
She made a typo, and I was trying to translate her
Yeah.
typo,
We appreciate you,
but she
Google
came back and
Voice.
translated it anyway. Yeah, really, really.
She's
But
almost spot on with the logic, but it's crazy because I can't even consider myself to be actually logical. I probably appear to be very logical, but the thing is, I'm always in this feeling of being under God's grace. That's always like the first place that I try to
wow.
go to when I slide back is, hey, if you lost this or if this happened, you are still under God's grace. And whatever it is that you're meant to get from this, you will gain it with the right perception. And so sometimes I can appear to be very illogical or irrational because nobody else understands, what's going on in here or in
Hmm.
here. But for me, emotions, right, you're right. I'm probably not very emotional, only because for me, emotions are like little indicators for me. They're not the
Hmm.
actual me who I am. They're just there to show me, like, oh no, girl, you don't like that. Look how mad that made you. Oh, you really like this.
Yes.
That made you happy.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to kind of clarify that. But then I want to also get into what you were talking about um,
Hmm.
because we were talking about purification earlier.
Yes.
And I was touching on the fact that God really asks us to purify daily.
Hmm.
And sometimes you might let go of a little bit more than you do other times, but at the end of the day, that's what that purification process is about, that daily letting go, not holding on to anything, because at
Yes.
the end of the day, things find us when we're looking, and when we know that they're there, which is why we say we walk by faith and not by sight, because and that's the illogical part of me, is a part of
Hmm.
me that walks by faith, not sight. Logic
Yes.
says this is what I see, 2 + 2 = 4. My faith says, does it really matter? Like, if you got 2 pieces of chicken, you can divide it by 2 people, where each person go get 1 piece of chicken. I get that math, but that doesn't have to be a part of the daily step. The daily step is letting go of anything that has nothing to do with what you're currently trying to be a part of. And when we clear out that space, we leave space for new, kind of like
Yeah.
clearing out your storage. The only way you're going to get more stuff in your house is to let some of your stuff in your house go. You're
Gotta
not
let it
using
go.
everything all the time.
Yeah. You gotta let it
Um,
go.
but the whole process of having, sometimes we just need to acknowledge I have and God has blessed me. I don't want to confuse the two, because being in a position to have and feel blessed and not go without, that's something to praise as well. That's something
Yes.
that you earned and something that you align with. You prayed about with God and He made that happen. So I just want to make sure it's a clarification between holding on to something too long and being blessed and having all those things that you said you wanted and getting them, because there is a difference between the two.
There's a
So whatever you
big
don't need,
difference.
let it go. Those clothes in the closet can bless somebody else. At the end of the day, whatever we have can also be a blessing to somebody else. And
Yeah.
that doesn't matter if that's our mental capacity or a material item that we have. And the more that we let those things out, I do believe that we're able to get those things that are more aligned with what we say we want now, because we should be constantly elevating what we want at all given times.
And
And
even
there's nothing
think of
wrong with it.
nothing wrong with it at all. And even thinking about that in terms of a relationship,
Hmm.
you're holding on to someone because you just don't want to be alone. You don't like being alone. You don't want to be lonely. So you're holding on to this individual. But if you let them go,
Hmm.
you let them go because you're holding on, your hands are closed and tight.
Mm.
But when you let them go, it opens your hands up to receive something or
Hmm.
someone that is even more, that's just so much better for you. And then they can go and be a blessing to someone else instead of just being in existing in a relationship,
Hmm. Hmm.
in your world.
Can I tell you
Um,
something weird I did? I know you have to read a comment, but I want to tell you something weird I did. You know
Go
those
ahead.
billboards where it says something about Christ and it's a 1-800 number? I was just like, I
Hmm.
wonder what'll happen if I call that 1-800 number, right?
Okay.
And so after a couple prompts or whatever, I land on this long message, and that's what it was pertaining to. I'm thinking it's a real big thing with the loneliness thing and the being alone thing,
Hmm.
because they identified that on the automated call. And it was
Wow.
reminding everybody that, you're never alone. God is always with you. And sometimes He has to
Wow.
quieten up your environment. And you might feel like you're losing people, but it's really God trying to gain your ear. He wants you to hear Him, and it's too much noise around you with the people that are feeding you whatever information you think you need, and He wants to give it to you directly. And so, yeah, that being alone and not having any one thing, it plays a major role in a lot of decisions that we actually make on a day-to-day basis. Sometimes we buy the minivan even though it's only us, because we're like, I'm going to go ahead and put myself in the mind of having a family.
Hmm.
So I'm going to go ahead and buy the big vehicle. I'm going to go ahead and buy the big house. Going ahead and putting
Yes.
yourself there happens a lot with people. They don't want to
Yes.
continue. Nobody wants to be alone, though, I don't think, right? I mean, nobody
No,
wants
no.
to,
I,
right?
I
Yeah.
I don't think anybody wants to. I think there's a
Yeah.
point in our lives where we enjoy the solitude, we enjoy the privacy, but we really want to be able to share,
Our
our
privacy.
lives with somebody. Yeah, share our privacy with somebody.
Right.
It sounds
That's
crazy, right? But I
right,
think it's
but
true.
it's true.
I think
It's
it's
true.
true. You know,
Hmm. It's a
Sylvia.
balance.
Yeah, Sylvia says, "Amen, Rhea. Let it go. Let go. renewing
Oh,
our mind, and we got to do that every single day.
every day.
And I agree with you that process that we go through of renewing our mind helps us to let go of things that were in our past. Whether that past
Mm,
was very recent, because if we don't go through that process, we're just holding on to stuff. And it's like you said, sooner or later, we'll have stuff just everywhere. We've hoarded
mhm,
everything that
mhm.
and we're not letting anything go, but we have to. Sydney says, Rhea, come help me clean out my closet, please.
Girl, I got you. What size shoe you wear though? I need to know what size shoe she wear first. Make sure I can help you figure it out. Just kidding. I got you. We'll do a closet edition of couples therapy or something on here. We'll do
Yeah,
something
really,
fun for
really,
that.
really. We'll give out Sydney's address to everybody, and they
Don't you
can just
dare. No. No, you will not.
1313
You will
Mockingbird Lane. Go see Sydney.
not. She's having an estate sale though. When she gets her estate sale, we're gonna raise some funds real quick. And that's another thing that's really cool when we start
Size
letting
10.
stuff go. What size 10?
She's
Okay,
size 10.
I'm gonna find somebody. I'm gonna find somebody. We're gonna find some dress for success to go donate to. It's gonna be a good holiday season. Just start putting just a couple to the side, nothing major, but it'll be nice to do that. It'll feel really good over the holiday. Actually, if we all can we do something like that? Can we do like a let go challenge? Where we challenge everybody between
Wow.
now and maybe Christmas to let go of something. Cause you're like me with that. Like I'm that person that's like somebody's like, oh, I like your ears. I'm like, oh, you like these, and I'm taking them out my ear, giving
Taking
it to
them
them. Cause it's
off.
like, but I
Taking
know
them
you're like
off.
that too.
Hmm.
I think we should have a let go challenge.
I think
Um,
that's a fantastic
any
idea.
one something that you have. It doesn't even have to be something you like. Just for the symbolism of it all, of saying I am letting something go. I'm okay with
Well,
releasing something.
but I disagree with you there. I think because sometimes when we have that mindset, okay, we do this challenge, a
Okay.
let go challenge, right?
Okay.
And by the way, our viewing audience, we're actually going to do that. I think that's a fantastic
Oh,
idea,
okay.
Rhea.
Kind of
We're going to
forever.
do a let go.
Okay.
We got Wakanda Forever. It's a let go challenge.
Except for.
I think that if I got this pen right here, right? It's
Don't play. Are you talking about letting go of that pen?
I think I'm gonna let go of this pen.
You saying that's not valuable enough? Is that what you saying?
No, here's the thing: value is placed by not necessarily what I paid for it, but what it's
True.
worth to me.
What it means to you?
Right.
Okay.
You know, so if and this really don't mean a thing to me. So me to give that away, and some people will do that. They'll give away stuff that they don't care about. But it's the earrings that you wear, right, are the
Yeah.
ones that you like,
I
because
know.
you're
I
not
be
gonna wear
liking my
something.
earrings.
Yeah. And it's like my watch. I like my watches. And so if
Yeah.
I got on a watch and somebody, because I did that one time, this guy says, "Man, it's a nice watch," and he complimented me twice on it, and I just said, "Here,
You
man,
know
take it."
what? Yeah, two
You know.
times. Here you go.
And
Don't
he
be
was
running
like,
up to me now, asking,
he
talking
said,
about you
"No,
like
no,
my
I can't do it. I can't do it." I said, "No, please." And I got that from a guy I met in Los Angeles with Rocco. You remember Rocco, right?
Yeah, literally the shirt off the back,
Yeah,
stuff like that. Like,
yeah.
just not my hat. That's the only thing I can't. If you walk up to me, I'm sure you ask me, I can't let my hats go. If it's not one on my head, I can let
Hmm.
that go. But the hat on my head, no. But definitely, like, when people compliment. Okay, but this is what I want to say about the Lego challenge. Why don't we start small for something insignificant, as you would call it, and then we'll graduate the challenge.
Well, I
And it
think that we could probably combine it because our producer Roy said that the
oh
JBN Network, Jericho Broadcast Network, is doing a big women's event on December 27th, and we can
oh
make that a part of it.
I
You
like
know,
that idea.
if you would
Boy.
like to, so we could begin to promote it now,
Okay.
and then combine it somehow. We get the details from Roy.
Okay.
Audience,
Do
listen,
that.
we're this is a big
We're
thing for
on
us. We're going
it.
to do this.
Okay, I'm excited.
The Let Go Challenge, and we can wrap that into, once we get all the details from our producer Roy, we'll wrap that into the women's event happening on December 27th. How's that sound?
Okay. That sounds really good, actually. I like the idea. I hope everybody else does too. and we'll just have to work out the details of it. But I think it could be a good start for a lot of people. It can mean something, especially
Yeah,
going
it
into the
could.
new year.
Yeah, Sylvia completely agrees. She gives an emphatic yes. And Sydney comes back and says, I just put 43 pairs of shoes in storage to add to her consignment boutique. I know, 43 pairs. I wish I had 43 pairs. She puts
Girl,
43.
she
That
got
means
me
she's still
doing a
got
whole little dance. I'm excited.
more
I don't even know what I'm
inventory.
excited about. It's just that many shoes. It's like I have to get excited. Look how many shoes that is. Oh my gosh. You
Yeah,
got a
that's a
pair of
lot.
white platforms for Robert girl.
You better
Boom.
not say yes, Sydney. You
He
better
said,
not.
oh, okay.
Unless
Okay.
they're size 13, and then I will
Oh,
take it.
okay, yeah, yeah. Boom. We'll cut out the backs of them and let your heel hang out the back part. Okay. Yes.
Listen,
Yes.
we've hit our time.
Oh, include Destiny. See, y'all still running. We trying to let y'all get to these AMAs on time and stuff. What's the Destiny?
I don't,
Because
oh,
I'm
Destiny
just now
7.
seeing.
Sylvia Brown. Yes, that's Sylvia Brown's company. Destiny 7. So
Oh,
we can
Destiny
wrap
7.
we can wrap that
Okay.
into the whole
Boom.
women's event with JBN. That Sylvia, that's a fantastic
That's
idea.
great. This is synergy at its best.
At its best, and this is what relationships are all about, you know.
Oh,
It is the essence of relationships is wrapping in doing things for each other, being able to show love when love needs to be shown. And this whole thing about the challenge that we're talking about here, we can as an official way of doing it, wrap it into the event on December 27th, and then as another unofficial way, because that's more of a women's event, as another unofficial way, we could just between now and then and come up with the details. We'll work
yeah.
together
Yeah.
between now and next
I have my
Sunday.
people call your people, and then we could tell the people.
We'll come up with all the details on how we're going to structure this thing, because I think it's a fantastic idea.
This is great. I that's a perfect ending too. Like that's so like bing. Like I like it.
Yes,
It's cool. This
Wakanda
is
forever.
good.
Yes,
Wakanda
definitely.
forever. Yes.
Yes, yes. This is what relationship radio is all about. So listen, I want to thank you, each one of you, for being with us tonight. Sylvia says that this is a form of healing, and Sydney says this was a lot of fun, and it was. Tonight was a
Tell
lot of
all your
fun. We dealt with some
friends.
difficult topics, and we even though we dealt with the difficult topics, we dealt with them in a way that people can be transformed, can be healed, can be
Yeah.
changed,
At least
and
inspired, right?
inspired to change,
Yeah.
and
At the
that's
least.
that is a great thing. Sydney says, when's the next show? Sydney, we're here every Sunday at 7 p.m. on the JBN Network. Robert Rencher Talks. This is Relationship Radio with Robert and Reya. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you again next Sunday at 7 p.m.
Bye guys. Wakanda.